Yo, what's going on, guys? SMH Super Mario Hoops back with some more hoops, and today we're hopping back into my top 50 list in NBA history. Today we got none other than Kobe Bryant, Kobe Bean Bryant to be exact. And where do I got him ranked on my all-time list? I got him ranked as of today at number 4. Now before we hop into this video, gonna need you guys to like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell because it really does me wonders, and maybe it could for you too if you like my content. And I think we're just gonna hop right into Kobe right now, and without further ado, let's get right into it. So over his career, he was an 18-time NBA All-Star every year from 1998 until 2016, the only exception being 1999 when there was no All-Star game. He's an 11-time member of All-NBA First Team from 2002 to 2004, and then from 2006 to 2013. He made All-NBA Second Team in 2000 and 2001, and All-NBA Third Team in 1999 and 2005. In fact, he was the league MVP in 2008, and he was a 12-time member of All Defensive Teams. And First Team, he made 2000, 2003, 2004, and every year from 2006 to 2011. And he made Second Team All Defensive from 2001, in 2002, and then also in 2012. He's also a 2-time scoring champion in 2006 and 2007, and he's a 5-time champion from 2000 to 2002, and then back-to-back in 2009 and 2010, where in those last two, he was Finals MVP. Now, in his career, he received votes for the MVP on 13 different seasons, 11 where he would finish top 5 where he finished top 3, a 1-time runner-up in 2009 to LeBron, and a 1-time winner in 2008. Now, this might be controversial, but I think that they got it right when it comes to Kobe's MVPs. I don't think he deserves Steve Nash's. I don't think that he deserved LeBron's in 2009, although I could see a case for it. But let's just move on to his all-time stat rankings. 25 points per game is 13th all-time. 33,643 points is 4th all-time. 1,944 steals is 16th all-time, along with his 172.7 win shares at 16th all-time. 122.1 offensive win shares is 13th all-time. A 4.6 offensive box plus minus is 15th in NBA history, and he finishes 12th all-time with an 80.1 VORP. Now, I'm sure that doesn't seem like a lot, but Kobe really never got the love from these analytics. It's even led some to believe that Kobe had a history of always taking bad shots, even though he is the best probably all-time at making them, and that he was inefficient for his career. And that's kind of funny because every year of his career, he shot better than league average until he tore his Achilles, all 17 seasons prior to that. So you can't really make much of an argument against him there. But now let's move on to Kobe in the playoffs. In the postseason, Kobe's numbers do manage to improve. I mean, higher regular stats, higher BPM, his shooting splits all rise, and when the lights shine brightest, generally he did too. He averaged 20 points per game in 36 of 43 playoff series, 25 points per game in 26 series, 30 points per game in 12 different series, and even had a series in the 2001 Western Conference second round against Sacramento where he averaged over 35 points per game. He averaged 5 rebounds per game in 25 of 43 playoff series, and 5 assists per game in 21 of 43 playoff series too, and that's kind of funny because people always say that he never passed. The first playoff series where Kobe got much of a star type of role after working his way up in the rotation was the 1999 second round against the San Antonio Spurs. I mean, Shaq was outperformed by Tim Duncan this series, but Kobe had his then highest scoring series of 21.3 points per game on pretty solid efficiency as well. I mean, Kobe's high level play against the Spurs would foreshadow what's to come with his playoff performances in general and just how he torched the Spurs. In fact, here are Kobe's stats for every playoff series he had against the Spurs. We might as well knock these out now, but it just shows how great Kobe was. In 2001, 2002, and 2008, he was the best player in the series. 2004, you can argue between him and Shaq that series, but regardless, both of them outplayed everyone on the Spurs, including Tim Duncan. And in the 2000 playoffs, Kobe would average 20 or more points per game in every series leading up to the finals. And in the first round and Western Conference Finals, when both games went the distance, Kobe played well in the closeout versus the Kings, as well as leading charge in the Western Conference Finals against Rasheed Wallace and the Portland Trail Blazers when Portland had a 16-point lead right before the fourth quarter in a Game 7. And Kobe led a 31-13 fourth quarter for the Lakers to win that game. In the finals, sure, Kobe wasn't efficient, but something that's underrated is that Kobe was an efficient facilitator, mainly to Shaq, who terrorized Rick Smits and Dale Davis. Kobe only averaged about 16, 5, and 4 for the series, but he did have a 4.2 assist to turnover ratio and was really effective at getting Shaq the ball with his mismatches, which was pretty common. The 2001 run, we kind of already discussed the Kings and Spurs series leading up to the finals, and they went 15-1 on the run as a whole. while in the 2002 playoffs as a whole, he averaged 26 points per game in every single series. And here are his stats for both of those final series as well, where it's safe to say he played as one of the best co-stars in NBA history when it comes to the NBA Finals. In the 2003 playoffs, they lost to the Spurs, which we already addressed that series, and in those playoffs, Kobe put up a league-leading 32.1 points per game, along with about 5 rebounds per game, 5 assists, over a steal per game on 53% true shooting, as he averaged over 30 points per game in both the series that year. 2004 was a bit rough for Kobe. I mean, he was dealing with a lot of stuff off the court as well, but he still averaged 24 points per game every series and was pretty inefficient in the finals, and really the Lakers as a whole sucked besides Shaq, and they lost to the underdog Pistons before Shaq and the Lakers agreed to part ways. However, this kind of left the door open for more scoring options with Kobe, even though by the later Kobe-Shaq years, it seemed as if that was already in transition where Kobe was becoming the primary option. And with some god-awful teams in 2006 and 2007 for the playoffs, Kobe in 2 first-round series losses to the Suns averaged about 30 points per game, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, on 48, 38, 84 shooting splits, and even had league MVP Steve Nash and the Phoenix Suns on the brink of elimination after a Game 4 game-winning buzzer beater to put the Lakers up 3-1 in the 2006 series. However, they did lose that series as a whole, and people blame Kobe for this, which is kind of dumb. I mean, they wouldn't have won the series without him, and they would have won the series in Game 6 if they could have grabbed a late-game rebound, and Kobe had 50 points that night. After going up 3-1, Kobe still averaged 34, 6, and 4 on 56% from the field and 50% from 3, so I don't know what more you expect from a guy playing with Smush Parker, Luke Walton, and Kwame Brown. But the next season, Kobe got a little bit more support in Pau Gasol. I mean, he had been a one-time All-Star in his career before joining the Lakers, but he is an upgrade off Kwame Brown for sure. In the 2008 Finals, they came up short in 6 against the Celtics, but in 2009, Kobe would be on top once again and earn his first ever Finals MVP, and right after in 2010, he earned his second Finals MVP after falling down 3-2 to Boston and ultimately got revenge. In the Game 7, yeah, he wasn't efficient offensively, but he was still really good and people don't get that. I mean, his defense was great, and he was great down the stretch and made smart plays. But over those 3 playoff runs, here's a few things that stick out. In every run, Kobe and the Lakers took down the 51 win average Utah Jazz in 2008, 2009, and 2010, where Kobe was dominant every time against them. The 2009 year, the Jazz were a 48 win team, while the other years they won 53 and 54. But that 2009 Jazz team, the Lakers in the 12 total playoff series from this stretch beat a 50 win team or better in 10 of them, and played one in 11 different series because, of course, they lost to Boston in the 2008 Finals. In the 2008 and 2009 playoffs, and playing the Carmelo Anthony and for 1 year Iverson, the next Billups, led Denver Nuggets, Kobe averaged 34 points, 5.5 rebounds, and 6 assists, 1 steal, 1 block on 49% from the field and 34% from 3. His 2009 Finals against Orlando, he averaged 32.5 points per game, 5.5 rebounds, 7.5 assists, 1.5 steals, 1.5 blocks on 43, 36, 81 splits. His 2010 Western Conference Finals against the Suns, in my opinion, is his greatest series ever, averaging 34 points, over 7 rebounds, over 8 assists, over 1 block a game on 53, 43, 88 shooting splits. And the 2010 NBA Finals, he put up 29 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals on 53% true shooting. And then even after the 2010 title, it's not like Kobe was bad. He still put up his usual stat lines in 2011, and in the 2012 playoffs, he averaged 30 points, 5 rebounds, 4.5 assists, 1.5 steals on 53% true shooting. He had a clutch Game 7 against Denver as a facilitator and a 40-point game in both rounds from that year. In fact, his last playoff game where he put up 42 points, 5 rebounds, 2 steals on 58% true shooting in Game 5 against OKC in the 2012 second round. And with this, along with his last regular season 60-point game against the Jazz in 2016, Kobe actually holds the record for most points in the last regular season game as well as most points in the last playoff game in NBA history. So when it comes to Kobe Bryant, he's underrated, and it's kind of for sad reason too. At first, when the news broke like last year, people were maybe overrating him a little, but now they kind of use that against him and say you're only rating him so high because of certain reasons, and that's just kind of annoying. If he's the closest thing to Michael Jordan, who many consider the greatest player of all time, then how can you have Michael Jordan at number 1 and then Kobe Bryant outside your top 10? or anything like 8 or 9 all time. Kobe should be top 5 all time. I mean, he added Pau Gasol in the later championships, who really, without Kobe, and if it was just the NBA Hall of Fame, he wouldn't have been a Hall of Famer. I mean, Scottie Pippen, he did more on his own than Pau Gasol did in the NBA. Wade, Bosh, AD, so did they. Oscar Robertson, I mean, he blows Gasol out of the water. I mean, these are guys that were maybe second options or co-stars to MJ, LeBron, and Kareem, and all would have been Hall of Famers regardless of joining them. Now, Shaq, yes, he would have been, but I'm looking at instances where each of these dudes was the sole number one, and it was kind of obvious. And in the later runs of titles, his MVP, his 3 straight finals, in what I believe is the toughest conference in NBA history with those Spurs, the Mavs, the Suns, the Jazz, the Blazers, and OKC came along. Denver was always in the playoffs. I just don't get the Kobe slander, and in my opinion, he has to be top 5. And like I said, everyone from 2 to 5, depending on criteria, could rank as 2. I think Kobe's best argument would be his skill. I think he's the most skilled player. I have anyone from 2nd to 5th. But I don't know, man. The Kobe hate just has to stop. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think about Kobe Bryant. Do you think that you see more people that are still ranking him maybe too high as a result of maybe some feelings toward him after what happened last year? Or do you think now it's come to the point where people are underrating him for that same instance? Or do you think that people aren't really looking at that as a whole? But yeah, I think I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'm out. Peace.